This episode of the Critical Careers Podcast is sponsored by CBRE. Hi, I'm Joyce Wady. Welcome to the Critical Careers Podcast. On today's show, we welcome Jennifer Olafenwa from Brilliant AI Technologies. Jennifer and I talk about how innovation flourishes when people from different backgrounds and different perspectives come together to contribute to the technology. We learn a little bit about her journey from law to AI, and we also learned why her favorite expression is wake up smarter than you were yesterday. So enjoy the show. Well, Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us today.
I'm happy to be here.
We're really thrilled to have you here. So thank you so much. Let's start out a little bit. For those who may not have heard of Brilliant AI, can you tell us a little bit about what it is your company is and what you guys are doing?
Yes. So Brilliant AI is an AI research and development company. And currently we're building an autonomous AI software engineer that can build, test, and deploy production-grade software.
And is it kind of intended for everybody, or is it a specific market that you're trying to reach with it?
Yeah, it's mainly for the developer markets, because I think there's a lot of tools out there that claim to help you build or make your work faster as a developer, but they don't really, like, if you're just building like throwaway apps or just things that you're going to use locally on your computer, that's fine. But for like real software that you want to share with the world, it's a lot more difficult. So that's the gap in the market that we're trying to address.
Okay.
So like to help you go from just a prompt to production grade software that is secure, that is stable. Yeah, so that's what we're doing. So I think it's for developers, and right now it's experienced developers will benefit from it more.
Okay.
Like as the models get better and as we develop the agents further, then I guess beginner programmers can also make use of it too.
One of the things that we've been doing with Critical Careers is kind of helping tell people stories of, for women, of how they got to digital infrastructure or how they came to the data center industry. So, could you tell us a little bit about your story? Like, was your intention to always be doing something with AI, or have you kind of just found yourself here?
I started Brilliant AI last year, and before then, I studied law. I don't have a technical background. I studied law for 5 years, but I'd been programming since 2020, just on the side, like doing projects for myself. It was ChatGPT, the release of ChatGPT, that was a turning point for me. The first time I used it, I just knew that this was going to change the world. Like, we're building digital brains, and I want to be part of that revolution, because I think, like, if we have AGI, if we succeed in the cause to build AGI, then it could just usher in a new revolution in terms of scientific discovery, the kind of things that people can build, healthcare.
Sure.
And I didn't want to be stuck in an office when all of that was happening. So I turned down a training contract and just like launched right into it. And it's been a very exciting journey.
Well, and what I love about that is when I was interviewing women for the book, almost every single person has somewhat of a similar story of they never thought they would find themselves here, but they are, and they're really happy to be here. So I love the fact that you started with law and have now, kind of gone through this, you kind of learned about it and found your passion for it and have, made the decision to do that to create a business around it. So, which is fantastic. So, I mean, you talked about the launch of ChatGPT as really kind of inspiring you. Would you say that's been the main turning point in, what has led your path to digital infrastructure and to technology? Or were there other things along the way?
Yeah, I've always been interested in technology. Even while I was a first-year law student, I was learning how to code. I did a data analysis internship at a law firm, and I really liked it. So yeah, ChatGPT definitely inspired me, because it was the first time that AI really became a thing that was accessible. Like, everybody could make use of it. Formerly, you would have to have a PhD
Right.
in mathematics or something to even like understand or be able to do anything meaningful with AI. But for the first time, like, you just needed to know English or any other language, and
Yeah.
that was really cool. And then to go from just chatbots that we started with in 2023 to fast forward to 2025, you have these agents that can go off in the world and like actually do stuff for you. I think that is really remarkable. And now you have AI models that can solve math like really, really well and scoring gold at international math Olympiads and actually making real discoveries in
Yeah,
science. And I
yeah.
think that's really, really cool. And it's just very exciting to be in the industry and to see how things keep progressing, things are moving really fast. Progress is exponential.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like you just being in the space, you have to feel excited, and everything inspires you to want to contribute as well, and like make it better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw something recently where they were talking about there's gonna be, like, the first $1,000,000 or maybe I can't imagine it's a $1,000,000,000 company, but $1,000,000 company of one person
It's
who
$1 billion.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a billion
$1,000,000,000?
dollars. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so but of one person who
Yeah.
has used AI agents
Yeah.
to help
Yeah.
them run the business,
Yeah.
which, it just kinda boggles my mind,
Yeah, it's
but it's
incredible. I think it is possible. That's the goal, and I think it's possible. Definitely. Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, the fact that you've taught yourself to code, I think is, fantastic. What have been some of the lessons you've learned through that process for yourself?
I've had to be really resilient because learning to code is very frustrating. And like I would say it's not just coding, like anything good
Sure.
takes effort, takes time. And to go through that process of not knowing anything about a field and even coming in as an outsider and then just being very stubborn and not giving up and just I encounter a problem, I stay on that problem until I figure it out, and then I go to the next problem.
Right.
So like I go from one bug to another bug until I have something that works. So it's been really incredible for me. It's been an incredible learning experience, and I would say even studying law has like these skills I picked up there have also helped in programming, because programming is like it's just about stacking logic together until you get something that the computer doesn't reject. And it's kind of the same with law. Like you're trying to stack cases together
Yeah.
to convince a judge
Yeah.
that
Sure. Sure.
you should take your side. And yeah, so I did that. And it it helped me like, at least that logical thinking, being able to go step by step on solving a problem. And yeah, it's really cool. It's easier to convince a computer than it is to convince a judge. So it's not too bad.
If you can convince a computer, you can convince a judge and
Yeah.
vice versa.
Yes,
So there you
definitely.
go.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is such an important point because I mean, part of the reason why we've been doing this initiative with critical careers is because the industry is growing so fast. We need to attract the broadest set of voices and perspectives and thought processes that we can in order to be able to create AI workloads or AI algorithms that serve everybody, not just serve a subset of the population. And to hear when someone says, "Well, my law degree, I learned these different skill sets, and this is how it's been able to translate into AI for me." I think it's such a great reminder for people to know that this isn't a linear path. There's a lot of different ways that people can come into it, and if you haven't been in technology or you haven't been, in data centers or, and AI is brand new, so everybody's figuring it out for themselves,
Definitely.
there's a way for you to come in and to not dismiss the skills that you already have or that you may have gained somewhere else. There's a place for it here.
Yeah, 100%, definitely.
So when we talked the other day, you said that you had grown up in Lagos and that you now live in Cambridge and you're here in the UK. How has that inspired you along the way?
The one thing about growing up in Lagos is it would teach you how to be creative, how to be strong, and not give up in the face of adversity. And I think moving to the UK was a dream come true for me because it just meant I'm able to build for an international market. Um, London is a very global city. It's very diverse. And basically, you build here, you are sharing what you build to the entire world. The
Right,
entire world is your
right.
market. You're not like boxed in. Um, but at the same time, coming from Lagos, it's really inspired how I think about my place in the industry because AI for me is not just another technology. I think it is the ultimate enabler. Um, so there's a study that the World Bank did in conjunction with Microsoft, and they found that kids who were not able to like attend school regularly, with access to copilots, to ChatGPT models and copilots, they were able to double their performance in school. And I think that's powerful because in places like Nigeria, where the access to education and
Yeah.
all these important amenities is very skewed, even things like healthcare, I think being able to have AI be an accessible technology in that part of the world is very important for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And I think it definitely could be the way people from Africa, from places that are not as privileged as here, are able to have an equal opportunity to also contribute back to the world. And I think about it a lot, and I feel like I'm here representing everyone, and I want to make sure that in any little way I can, that the technology benefits everyone, um if not equally, then just even
Sure.
like gets there.
Well, it's interesting because
Yeah.
listening to you, I mean, you're kind of repositioning on what AI can do in society. There's so much of I think there's a lot of, because it is a new technology, and every time over the last, hundreds of years, every time there's been a major technological shift, people are fearful of it.
Yeah.
And you can completely understand that. And especially when you see things about, headlines talking about, this company's laying off people because they're moving to AI. And you understand where the fear comes from. But you're really bringing in a different perspective right now of the fact that AI can also be an enabler for societies that don't have that opportunity.
Yes, yes. Like if we can get AI to the point where like like even people who just maybe have a phone can have access to quality healthcare, healthcare advice and a personal tutor for every kid. Like that's really powerful, and it could really change a lot of lives where I'm from. So I think about it, and I hope to be able to contribute to my part to make that possible.
Yeah, well, sure, absolutely. I mean, what better way to do it than by, starting your own company and trying to
Yeah,
figure out how to do it
getting
that
in
way.
there,
So,
yeah. Yeah.
any other ways that you've seen, like, the impact of AI on education? Because I think one of the first tools that you developed was an education AI agent. So can you tell us a little bit about that and kind of what the purpose is and kind of how you see that going from, like, moving forward?
Yeah, so the first thing I ever built when I started working on Brilliant AI was an AI agent called Braille AI, and you could go from just stating what you wanted to learn, um, your uh, your level of expertise, how long you wanted the to be learning for, and you would have a course with video, audio, text, and quizzes, all the instructional material that you need. It like just generated on demand. And the inspiration for that came from me wanting to get into programming, like start my own company and just not even knowing where to like start from, because there's just so much information on the internet, and a lot of it is not very useful. And like the time you spend trawling through not useful material to get what you really need, it just wastes your time.
Yeah.
And then you even lose motivation and you lose focus. But using AI to then synthesize all of that material and make it like, you know, just get what you actually need, and it meets you where you are. So like a
Yeah.
personalized tutor. That was like I built it for myself,
Yeah.
and then I decided to like share it with the world. And I think that's where I see the future of education going. Where you want to learn anything, and there's really no barrier. Like you want to go from being someone like who did media studies to being an astrophysicist. You can do it because the knowledge is out there, the information is out there, and you have this really really smart tutor who doesn't get tired, who doesn't get frustrated, and will explain it to you if they need to 100 times until you master it.
Right.
And I think that is really powerful. And if you can give that to virtually every single person on the planet, we're going to have 100,000 Einsteins
Yeah.
in our generation, and I don't even know what generation after that is going to be like. So I think we're just merely scratching the surface, and it's very exciting to see where that leads. And there are lots of other people who already are doing initiatives like that, like Khan Academy. They have an agent that does that, and even inside of ChatGPT as well. Like you can, it has a learn mode, I think now, that can really give you highly specialized and highly accurate content for learning. So that's
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah. And I love that idea because, I mean, there's so many things in life of being able to meet people where they're at is so important, in relationships, in communication, in education, all of these different facets. To have something that can go with you at the pace you need it to, can, like you said, can repeat it for you as many times as you need until it clicks, or, maybe even adjust the information it's providing to help you, you know, give you that piece of data that you need to let the concept come through, in the way that you need it to.
Yeah, definitely. And I also know that the UK government is starting this initiative to like upskill people
Mhm.
using AI. And I think that that is also like a step in the right direction. And I
Yeah.
think like more governments will have to think about that. Like, how can I use this technology to benefit my citizens? So
Yeah.
that's really cool.
So if when someone does say to you they're fearful of it and because of worried about losing a job or worried about maybe inaccurate information or whatever, whatever it is, what do you usually go back and tell them?
So on the first one of like AI taking your job, yeah, I think it's a real concern that people have. And yeah, there's already a lot of layoffs, lots of disruption in many industries, even in tech, like, which is very ironic because the people who built the technology
Right.
are the ones who were first affected by it. But I also think there's an opportunity there where you use the AI as a tool, and it just, so if you are able to do l- like 70% before, you're able to do 100%.
Right.
Yeah. So the standard has definitely gone up. The standard is higher, but then you have the AI, right? You have this tool, and you can just use it to dream bigger, at like attempt things that would normally be beyond your skill level, right? And prove yourself to be someone that can add value. On inaccurate information, it's also like knowing, being very very like informed on the kind of models to use. Like, so we have like two main classes of models now, like non-reasoning models, like the ones we had at the start, so like GPT-4,
Right.
that doesn't
Right.
reason, that just like generates tokens when you ask a question. And then you have reasoning models that are able to do some reasoning before giving you the first outputs.
Mhm.
And those ones are really, really accurate because they're able to figure out mistakes inside of their reasoning. It's like having a rough sheet to like do calculations before you do your final answer. So like those ones are really good. And then with agents that are able to pull real-time information from the web and use that to like augment whatever knowledge already exists inside the model, the hallucination problem
Yeah.
is significantly reduced. Don't want to say 100% solved because that might not be correct, but it's significantly reduced.
Sure.
So it's just knowing the right models to use and the right tools as well, because the models are really smart, just the reasoning models. But if you then use the model inside an agent that can search the web or even tell you that, oh, I don't really have much information about this. Do you want to clarify further, or do you have a reference material you want to give me to then pull stuff from for you? That
Helps address the
helps
issue.
definitely
Sure.
address the issue. So, and again, it still goes back to that concept of um, information symmetry. Like, these things exist, but a lot of people still don't know about the advancements that are already happening in the field, and they are still stuck with the 2023 notion of AI.
Sure. Sure.
So like just need to do more to like get the word out there, and make it more accessible to people. Like AI education
Yeah.
on its own is a
Well, and
thing.
it's and if you think about it, AI in a variety of different forms has existed for quite a while, like, for,
Yes.
for many years. I
Yes.
mean, there's, ways that you didn't probably realize that you were interacting with AI, like the bots that are supposed to help you, like run customer service. Those are AI machines, those large language models. I mean, if you use any sort of online translation device, that's a large language model. So, I mean, there's versions of this that have been around for several years now. So when people, if they get intimidated by what they're hearing or the headlines that they're reading, they've already been encountering it in their life in many different ways. So it's not necessarily something to be afraid of. It's just
Yeah.
something that is, like you said, maybe just need to learn a little bit more about it
Yeah.
to understand what are good quality tools and models to use so that it can actually be helpful to
Yeah.
them and not,
Yeah. And while like AI has existed definitely in different forms, the computer vision models, language translation models, um, these new class of AI models, the GPTs, the LLMs, they are very different.
yeah,
They are very different because they have this intelligence. So, like, if you take, for instance, a model that you train to do translation, that was pre GPTs, you can't ask it to solve a math problem,
right,
right?
right,
But these new class of models, they are general models, they are general purpose technologies. Like you train a model on all of the world's data on the internet, and like that, it discovers new patterns that you probably didn't even train it to do, and it's able to solve new problems that probably didn't even exist in its distribution set. And then you now add on this whole reasoning paradigm where the model is able to like use tokens, do some like use more compute on problems, like spend a lot more tokens on problems before finally emitting its first response to you. And it's it's a digital brain. It's
yeah,
new.
yeah,
It's actual intelligence for the for the first time. And I think people should also be cognizant of that. That this is not just autocomplete. This is a new kind of technology, and we should try to be more curious to
It's a good way. Yeah,
to understand more, like what can this model do for me. Like you need we need to there's something I hear a lot of people in industry say, that even if the progress stopped today, which is definitely not going to happen, um we'll still have years and years of productionizing to do, like use, like there's still so much to get out of these models, and a lot of people like don't know that. And there's a lot of opportunity there for the people who recognize the new capability that these models have.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, and even when you were just saying about the pattern recognition, and but then putting the reasoning and logic behind it, when I hear about, or when I think about the possibilities on like medical discoveries and
Yes.
research and that kind of stuff. I
Mhm.
mean, my dad had dementia, and to know that there's something that's capable of kind of analyzing lots of different dementia cases and potentially seeing patterns that we can't with
Yeah.
our human eye or with our human brain, because it can absorb so much more data. Like, I want that to happen, Like, I
Definitely.
don't want someone to go
Yeah.
through what my dad had to go through. So that kind of thing, like that to me is what I get excited about, of thinking
Yes.
about the possibilities. And so I think, and then I love that if people are just curious about it as opposed to maybe being fearful of it. I
Yeah.
think that is a really, I think it's a really good approach to life in
Yeah.
general.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. And like for a lot of people, that medical context that you brought up is very important. Like even me, when I like go to the doctor, it helps for me to, just have a lot more context and being able to like talk about those issues in a non-judgmental
Yeah. Yeah.
context is like really helpful. So I'm going to the doctor and I'm a lot more informed. God knows how long it takes to get an NHS an NHS appointment. So like I can actually make use of the time, make better use of the time I have with the doctor. So like it's really, really helpful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, do you think that your background, just from your, whether it's going down the law degree and switching to this or, being a woman in the industry or coming from Nigeria, do you think that gives you a different perspective that you're able to bring to this industry and the work that you're doing right now?
Yeah. Yeah, of course. So I like to think about myself as an everyman
Sure.
in
Sure.
AI, because I don't have a PhD, I don't have a math degree or anything like that, but I just saw something exciting happening and I wanted to like just contribute to it. And so I think I am able to understand more the perspective of the regular person on the street, like, you know, how do I make sense of this technology? How is it gonna affect my life? And I think I I I approach it with, say, kind of empathy. That okay, we are not creating this tech in a vacuum. Like,
Yeah, right.
it's going to still come back to, influence other people's lives, affect other people's lives. It's going to like almost reshape our society. So I try to think about how to build for good. Yeah, build things that I think will. It sounds so try to say, but make the world a better place.
Absolutely. We all want to do that. So, absolutely
Yeah,
own it.
yeah, definitely. So to try to make the world a better place, and there are other kinds of applications that you could put this technology to that I personally think might not be as helpful to the world, but I try to in that way think about it, like how can I, you know, ensure that this technology, as I'm building it, when it gets into the world, I'm proud of what comes out of it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that
So,
empathy aspect.
well, so kind of on that point then, are there other qualities that you think that women bring to the table that are unique in all of this?
Yeah, 100%. So women, I think, are very curious. Like we're natural problem solvers. That's how I say it. We try to look at things and try to look for the most efficient solution
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
to problems. And I think that's really what it's about at the end of the day. Like, can we find a smarter way to solve this problem, to approach um this problem? And yeah, I think we need more women. We need to and women need to like we need to own what we
Yeah.
bring to the industry,
Yeah.
and like be very proud of it, and just keep putting ourselves in those spaces where
Yeah,
where we need to
absolutely.
be. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it makes a, huge difference for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So what advice if someone, if there was a student or, someone else who said, "Hey, I'm really interested in this, and I enjoy seeing what you're doing." What would you tell them? What advice would you give them about coming into this industry?
Yeah, two things: resilience and curiosity. And I think I've touched on it before. So, the resilience part will help you stay the course when it gets frustrating, and it will. Um, so, coming into this space, if you need to be fascinated by problems.
Mm.
Yeah. So, and just because you're fascinated by it doesn't mean you're going to enjoy it when it's when you're yet to solve it. So if you just stay the course and go through that problem until you find another problem, that's how you know you're progressing. So you need to be resilient to actually make progress. And then the curiosity part is how you actually find good solutions.
Yeah.
So I I mentioned this the other day, that you want to sleep smarter than you woke up.
Which
You
I
know?
love that. I love that phrase.
Yeah, yeah. So like you're not going to be able to fit all the knowledge that you would need or you would encounter in the industry in like, you're not going to be able to fit everything in one at once. But if you're constantly thinking about how to get better, constantly improving your knowledge, because at the end of the day, it's what you can do.
Right.
That's what really
Right.
matters. Like, it doesn't, like that's all anybody cares about. Like, can you actually do stuff? Can you make things work? And the way to do stuff is to know how to do it. So if you keep your curiosity alive, maybe you don't like finish, say, like you start a project and you can't finish it, but you've learned something out of it, and no knowledge is wasted. What you've
Right.
learned from it, you can take and apply it to another project that then succeeds,
Yeah.
or from one job to another, from one business to another. So yeah, resilience and curiosity, if you have those two, like, you're good.
You're good.
Yeah, you're good.
Yes. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank
I
you,
love talking to you.
Joyce.
Your passion for what it is that you do really comes through. I actually learned a lot, in this conversation,
Thank
because
you.
I
I'm
think,
so happy to hear that.
yeah, because you do have a good knack of explaining these things in a way that is easy to understand. So,
Thank
so I
you.
really appreciate that.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it too.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Critical Careers. A special thank you to our sponsor, CBRE, for their support in helping us share the stories of the people shaping the future of digital infrastructure. To learn more about CBRE, visit www.cbre.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to like, share, and follow the podcast. Thanks for listening.